Good day and welcome to the McConnell Equities Trading Channel. I am your host. Let's move this a little bit closer. I am your host, Christopher McConnell, and you have come to the right place for your weekly stock market information. This week, I have decided that we're going to change things up a bit rather than going with one stock pick of the week. There is some vulnerability, I suppose, in the stock market at the moment with some tariff issues going on. So I'd just like to see how things open up on Monday before putting pen to paper with a new stock. So I thought I would go and give the viewers a little bit of my origin story and how I got into the stock market, why I love the stock market so much, and how it all happened for me, and give you guys a bit of a background. So when I was in the early 2000s, me and a group of friends ended up starting a fantasy football league. So, for those of you who are unacquainted with fantasy football is a game based on the American Football National Football League in the United States, where a group of 12 of us, now that number can vary, a group of 12 of us get together each year and draft a team of individual players that on each week of the NFL season will play against another player's players. So, as you could picture, at the beginning of the year, we go through a very similar draft as the NFL does. So, you pick from 1 through to 12, and then back 12 through to 1 until your entire team is complete. So, what usually happens, you get your blue chip players picked in the first 2-3 rounds, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So with all those players, the way that they accumulate points is by their statistics. So a running back who scores 100 yards and a touchdown gives you a certain number. I think it used to be about 10 points, 1 point for every 10 yards, and then 6 points for a touchdown. So you want to put the best players out on the field each week in an attempt to beat your opponent, who is oftentimes a close friend of yours. So it's bragging rights for the whole week. Now, you want to draft your best blue chip sort of players in the first few rounds. Your middle rounds are going to be taken up by drafting maybe backup players. Potentially you'll have younger players who haven't broken out yet but might. And then in the later rounds, you might have backup players. You might end up drafting your rookies that haven't broken out yet, rookies that no one knows about, just like that. So you've got your blue chips, you've got your medium range, and then you've got your flyers, your who knows what. And so I loved fantasy football. I no longer play anymore, but when I was playing fantasy football, I simply could not get enough information, podcasts, books, articles online, whatever it was that was going to give me the edge. I just consumed and consumed and consumed. And so what ended up happening, probably to a degree at least, was that you end up getting sort of analysis paralysis, which is, as many traders know, can happen as well. But you consume so much information that you don't know whether you're coming or going anymore. So what ended up happening for me anyways is I ended up dropping out of the league, and I no longer even participated in football in any at all. So, but still does not take away from the fact that I love that game and I love the boys. Shout out to the QC Connection for a great 20-year run that I had, and that league is still going. One of the first groups of friends I knew that had made a league, and that league is still going. So shout out to them. Anyway, so the way I related it, though, was that fantasy football and stock trading have heaps in common. You know, you've got your blue chip players like who used to be Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, these guys you guys are picking the first round of your draft, and you know that any given week you would get above average points for that position. You might get 20 points for a quarterback. So whatever it was. Stock trading, same idea. You've got your Microsofts, you got your Amazons, you got your Apples. These are your big blue chips. You can count on them week in and week out. To not always deliver the goods, but they over time are nearly too big to fail. So in saying that, same in fantasy football. But what I really loved about fantasy football was finding that player that no one had heard of yet, buried on some roster on third string running back for the Texans or something. And he has been scouted as being a diamond in the rough. And this is what I loved. I loved the reading, the research, the finding out. And it happened to me one year, this exact thing. So there was a player that played for the Texans, buried on the depth chart. His name was Arian Foster. And I can remember distinctly drafting him in the 5th round. So in the 5th round, you are in amongst a bunch of players that could be nobodies, could be rookies, could be who knows. Anyways, Arian Foster, 5th round, and I can remember the guys in the room. So we'd usually meet up, big boardroom at my mate's place, and meet up, do the draft, have some beers, heaps of fun. And I remember drafting Arian Foster and the boys going, who is that? And from the research I'd done, I just thought, and there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life, but there's no guarantees in equities or fantasy football. But knowing what I knew at that time, and I thought, if this guy goes, he's going to go big. Anyways, first game, Arian Foster starts for the Texans, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can look it up. It was amazing. But that, to me, is the feeling that I get from the equities markets as well. So you dig and research and you find and you hunt and you look and you analyze and you compare. And sometimes you get that little nugget, that Arian Foster. You get that bloody whoever it is, any stock that's exploded in the last whoever, it doesn't matter. They've all exploded at some point. The ones that are up there, you get Apple before the iPhone comes out. This is the thing that I love about the equities markets and about stock trading and being in the stock community, is that you have the ability to research. You can put your heart and your soul into it. You can think in different ways which ways are going to net me a good trade. Who's going to be the Arian Foster of this week's equities market, this week, this month, this year? Who knows? The point being is, there's always going to be your blue chips. You can always count on putting your money in the S&P 500. You can put your money in Microsoft. You can put your money in Google. Although Google, You can put your money on Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I don't know who the big guns are now, but the point is, when you start to hunt for those diamonds in the rough, players that are on a come up, stocks that are on a come up, that have maybe bottomed out and are now heading upwards, stocks that are hitting their 52-week high and are kind of still flying under the radar, stocks who have just announced a new product that they're going to come out with that's going to change the way we view the world. I mean, this is the stuff that got me into stock trading and why I'm such a passionate trader, and why fantasy football was kind of my gateway drug into the stock market. So that was just a little background story about me, why I love what I do so much, and how I'm just so excited to share it with you guys and continue on this journey of the McConnell Equities Stock Trading Channel. We're going to have these more often, these little side notes. I'm going to come back hopefully midweek with another potential stock of the week once things sort of look a little bit clearer. But during my scans last night, I just didn't see anything that popped off the page to me. So I thought, let's do something different. Let's give the viewers a bit of info about me and start this relationship off. So if you have any comments, please leave them below. Remember, of course, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only, although we didn't exchange any information today. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It would help me out immensely. And I just can't wait to give you guys more content. And please get out there and find that nugget. All right. See ya.